The Bengals look to get it done in Skull Country. Mike Petraglia inside U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis. The Bengals searching for their first 3-0 start to a season since they started 8-0 back in 2015. They can reach 3-0 with a win today over the Minnesota Vikings. The Bengals have never won on the road against the Vikings in 6 previous tries. That includes back in 2017 in this very building, when the Vikings clinched the NFC North that year with a 34-7 decision over the Bengals. Of course, they also beat the Bengals back in 1977 at the old Metropolitan Stadium and beat the Bengals several times at the Metrodome here in Minneapolis. So the Bengals looking to make history, but of course they'll have to do so without the services of Joe Burrow. He had his left toe surgery on Friday. He is now rehabbing. He is out for the foreseeable future. Best case scenario, 3 months down the line. That puts it perhaps at the Baltimore Ravens game at Paycor or even the Miami game on the road. But there is so much between now and then that could take place. The Bengals' focus, and you've heard this all week long from Zach Taylor, is week to week. The focus is to go 3-0. And how do the Bengals go about doing that against a team that certainly is beatable here in Minnesota? The Atlanta Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6 on Sunday Night Football just 7 days ago. So the Bengals need to come in here. What do they need to do? Run the ball. Minnesota Vikings have allowed 168 yards per game on the ground through the first 2 weeks. That's third to worst. That's 30th in the National Football League for the first 2 games. But the Bengals, as many Bengal fans know, have not been able to get Chase Brown kick-started so far in the 2 games. They are averaging just 47 yards as a team on the ground, dead last in the National Football League. Can the Bengals get their run game going this afternoon, take some pressure off Jake Browning, making just his 8th career start here in the National Football League and his first in 2025. Of course, Jake Browning went 4-3 as a starter back in 2023 and nearly led the Bengals to the playoffs, finishing with a 9-8 record that season. But Jake Browning, the idea here is to keep it simple. He knows the offense as well as any backup quarterback in the National Football League could possibly know the offense. And Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher have said throughout the week they're very confident, not just with his knowledge of the offense, but his leadership, how much the players like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, Chase Brown, all of them believe in Jake Brown as a leader. Of course, the offensive line is going to have to pick up their play a little bit this afternoon, but certainly if they can protect Jake Browning and give him time to release the ball, the Bengals feel like there are big plays to be made against this Vikings defense. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, of course, that's a big storyline in this game. Who will defend Justin Jefferson? It may or may not be Cam Taylor-Britt. Cam Taylor-Britt is doubtful coming into this game with a hamstring that he pulled on Wednesday. If he is inactive, look for Marco Wilson to be active for the first time this season in the Bengals secondary. But likely you will see DJ Turner and Dax Hill on the field along with Fig Newton. Those would likely be your 3 defensive backs, at least to start the game in a nickel defense look for Al Golden's defense. As far as on the defensive line, Shamar Stewart, he is out. That could be a big loss against this Minnesota Vikings team that is looking to get their offense in gear. Again, they only scored 6 points here at home on Sunday night in that 22-6 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, they are starting a backup quarterback as well, and that would be one Carson Wentz. J.J. McCarthy suffered an ankle injury in the second half of that game on Sunday night. He is out, and Carson Wentz will get the start for the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, he had that magical run with the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2017. Then Nick Foles came in and won the Super Bowl on this very field against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in the Philly special game here in Minnesota. But Carson Wentz, he's got experience, but he is a backup. He's really bounced around the National Football League the last several years. Can he stick here in Minnesota? But more importantly for Bengal fans, can the Bengal fans get to Carson Wentz, make him make some unforced errors, and generate some turnovers? The Bengals have been very good in generating turnovers, especially in the secondary in the first 2 games. Jordan Battle has an interception in each of the first 2 games for the Bengals. Bengals again trying to start the season 3-0 for the first time since 2015, but it's a battle of backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning against Minnesota's Carson Wentz. Who will come out on top? We will have you completely covered on the X at Trags, Trags. Be sure to look for my game preview up on CLNSCincy with a Y.com. We'll have you covered, of course, post-game on CLNSCincy.com. And Skinny is here on location. Richard Skinner of Local 12 will break it all down on the Bengals, on the Jungle Roar Bengals post-game podcast here live from Minneapolis after the game on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Inside U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.